He just jumps and jumps at him.
Hi.
Rupert, where's Bert? Yay, silly boy. I'm Carolyn Robb, the royal chef, former chef to Prince Charles, Princess Diana, Prince William and Prince Harry. I'm making my lemon and thyme cake, a great favourite at Highgrove, because of Prince Charles's love of fresh herbs. The first time I met Prince Charles was at Highgrove. I had cooked a meal for him and for Princess Diana the previous evening. I was very excited about meeting him, but also slightly nervous, not knowing whether he would have liked the meal I had cooked or not. But when I did finally meet him, he was very warm, very gracious, and very enthusiastic about the food that I had cooked for him. My first experience of Highgrove, happily, was successful. I'm going to preheat the oven to 160 degrees centigrade, ready to bake once the batter's made. As with any cake, you have wet ingredients and dry ingredients. This one is really simple. I'm going to start by blending together the oil, the yogurt and the egg. And then I add in the sugar, some freshly grated lemon zest and vanilla essence. And then lastly, fold in the flour. If you don't know what Highgrove is, let me tell you. It is Prince Charles's private residence. It's a beautiful home in the Cotswolds that he purchased just before he and Princess Diana were married. Surrounding the house is the most beautiful gardens. When he moved in, some 30-something years ago, the gardens were very basic. There was not very much there at all. But he's worked tirelessly, both himself and with numerous different gardeners, to create the most incredibly beautiful garden. In fact, Prince Charles loved the garden so much that in the middle of the summer, when it doesn't get dark until 10:30, dinner would be served very late because he'd be out working in the garden until it got dark. Now I'm ready to bake my lemon thyme cake, and I'm going to do them in little individual ring moulds. And in order to get the mixture in without making too much mess, I use a pastry bag with a plain nozzle. I'm going to pipe this in. The trick is not to fill them too high, a very simple ring of mixture in each one. Now I'm going to cook these in a preheated oven at 160 degrees centigrade for 10 to 12 minutes. Now I'm going to make a lemon thyme syrup, which is really simple. It's lots of fresh lemon juice, granulated sugar, and obviously some fresh thyme. The reason I'm using fresh thyme is it really takes me back to when I worked at Highgrove, and there's the most incredible thyme path in the garden, which is many meters long, and much of it was planted by Prince Charles himself down on his hands and knees. So many different wonderful varieties of thyme, lemon thyme and apple thyme. But I think the most amazing thing about the thyme path was when you walked on it, the incredible aroma that you got. This syrup is really simple to make, just like any lemon drizzle cake syrup, except this has the addition of thyme. Once the sugar's all dissolved and the syrup has simmered for just a moment, and I've put the thyme in, we just turn it off and leave it to infuse for about 10 minutes so that the flavour of the thyme really goes into the syrup. These have had about 10 minutes now, so I think they're probably ready. I'm just going to loosen these before turning them out onto a rack, and then we'll glaze them with the lemon thyme syrup. Prince Charles is incredibly busy. He has about 400 patronages and charities that he works with. And quite a few of those are related to the environment, and there are a few in particular that are really interesting that relate to rare varieties of seeds for fruit and vegetables. And in the walled garden at Highgrove, there were the most beautiful vegetables. Some of them were these rare variety vegetables, things like purple carrots and yellow carrots and blue new potatoes and blue beans. It really was a rare privilege to cook with so many amazing ingredients. Using a pastry brush, I'm going to glaze these little cakes with the lemon thyme syrup. Now that I've glazed these, I'm going to fill the centres with a little mascarpone and then on top a selection of fresh berries. Using fresh berries always takes me back to my time at Highgrove, and particularly the wonderful gardener called Dennis, who used to pick huge baskets full of berries and bring them into the kitchen. And he always presented everything so beautifully, it was almost like a still life. These little lemon thyme cakes are perfect to serve for afternoon tea, and it's exactly the kind of thing that Prince Charles would serve to guests at Highgrove when they came to visit him. These little cakes are very light because they don't have butter in them, but they're made with oil instead. It means that the texture is really light, and the combination of Greek yogurt with lots of lemon zest and then the lemon thyme syrup over the top means that they're not too sweet. So if you don't have a sweet tooth, this is the perfect cake for you. There are plenty more afternoon tea treats just like these in my new book, Tea at the Palace. And for lots more dessert ideas, go to delish.com.